Strange times call for strange approaches. This is the first ever PFTPM recorded from my undisclosed location where I spend the weekends during football season. Before heading over to the studio, I need to address this Lane Kiffin situation. It is strange. The plot seems to be thickening. He said Friday after the Egg Bowl victory that his decision on his future would come Saturday. It's down to staying at Mississippi or going to LSU, but with the dribs and drabs of reports that are out there, and we try to synthesize and analyze and understand all of it, sounds like the deeper issue flows from the current college football system, which even allows this kind of behavior where one program can actively recruit the head coach of another program. They're all part of the NCAA. This would be an easy fix. No efforts to try to lure a coach from one member institution to another member institution until that school's football season has fully and completely ended. Not the regular season, not the conference championship game, all the way through to the end. As many playoff games as the team will play. Then you can begin the process, just like it is in the NFL, because that seems to be what the core issue is here. Kiffin, by all appearances, wants to have it both ways, wants to finish the year with Mississippi, carry them through the playoff run, and then go to LSU. Now, on the surface, LSU would seemingly have a problem with that because, let's go. Let's go. You're going to come work for us. Let's get to work. We got a lot to do. And there's a certain amount of a sentiment from some of the analysts out there, friends of Kiffin, former employers of Kiffin, pushing this idea, hey, he should be allowed to finish the job if he wants to. But it's far more complicated than that, given the broader realities of college football. Mississippi doesn't want Kiffin to continue to have access to players that can slip into the transfer portal when it opens for the next time on January 2nd. And that makes sense. If he's heading to LSU and he's around these guys for another month, who knows what influence that'll have on whether or not one or more viable Mississippi players will decide to follow Lane Kiffin to his new program. And then there's the basic reality that every Mississippi game coached by Kiffin going forward is an advertisement for LSU. If he wins, it doesn't boost Mississippi, it boosts LSU. So I understand why Mississippi has taken a very hardline approach here. If you're done, you're done. If you're leaving, you're leaving. And there's a certain amount of pandering to fans that I think some are engaging in, glossing over these deeper issues, these very real business issues born of the current college football system. Now, certain things can't be controlled. All of the walls that used to be in place to keep players from freely moving, to keep players from getting paid, they're gone. Well, some are trying to rebuild those walls and take money out of the players' pockets, but at the same time, you've got to have guardrails on the coaches. Already the coaches hopscotch all over the country whenever they want to. Should we really support? Should we really defend? Should we really acknowledge a system that lets coaches go whenever they want during a season? During a season. The system allows it. That's the problem. The system allows it. Think of it this way. The Giants are looking for a coach right now. What if they were able to target Ben Johnson, the Bears coach? What if they were able to hire Ben Johnson to come be the Giants coach at some point in the future, after the season, or right now? How would that feel if that kind of chaos was introduced to the NFL? The NFL, there's a lot of things the NFL needs to do better, but one thing the NFL does right, it's a given. You can't hire someone's coach, head coach or assistant coach until the season's over. And the head coaches are off limits while they still have contracts. That's the other thing about this that's weird. This idea that head coach can leave this school to go be head coach at that school, to go be head coach at this school. That freedom has been there. It's part of the problem. Some of that is unavoidable once the season ends. It seems reasonable. It seems logical. It's a no-brainer. Don't let LSU hire Lane Kiffin. Don't let him talk to Lane Kiffin. Don't let him make an offer to Lane Kiffin. Don't let him negotiate with Lane Kiffin until Mississippi season's over. And that applies to any school targeting the head coach of any other program. Off limits until their season's over. It's very reasonable. Now, I don't know, some coaches wouldn't like it because it restricts their ability to go wherever they want and chase the bag. It also creates this weird, largely unprecedented scenario where you've got a coach who wants to continue to chase a championship with the team he's built, while he's got one foot out the door and he's potentially dragging some of the players with him. That's really the heart of this. Kiffin wants to have it both ways, and the system allows him to try. I give Mississippi credit for saying, no, you're not, Lane, no, you're not going to do this. Now, the one last wrinkle that's popped up on Sunday morning, because this is still all in flux. In theory, Kiffin may stay put. If they tap into some of the Manning money, maybe he will. I don't know. But as of right now, LSU expects him to go there, expects him to sign a contract that as of late last night wasn't, and Mississippi expects him to leave right now. There were reports that he's threatening to take all of his offensive coaching staff with him and leave Mississippi in a lurch for the playoffs. That's part of the leverage he's applying to try to be able to do it both ways, to stay at Mississippi and then leave for LSU. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But every single strange little twist and turn, it all leads back to a system that is broken and a system that needs to be fixed. And anybody who's on the air talking about college football needs to start at that point. It's a bad system that allows one program to target, to recruit, to offer contracts to negotiate with, and ultimately hire a coach whose season has yet to end. And with that, we conclude the rare college football only edition of PFTPM, but it does have ramifications for the NFL because these are jobs NFL coaches may want. You may have some of these college programs eventually trying to poach pro coaches before their seasons are over, kind of like Alabama once did. Some 18. Remember that one? I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. Remember that? Remember who said that? Remember who said he's not going to be the Alabama coach right before he became the Alabama coach? At least he waited until after the Dolphin season was over to, load up the truck and go to Tuscaloosa. But it's just a bad system and it needs to change. And everything we're seeing is a direct result of a system that the NCAA has allowed to get completely off the rails. Enjoy the day of NFL action. We'll see you Monday morning, bright and early, for PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.